We off?
30 seconds of carefree bliss.
Oof, like wind in your hair carefree.
Oh, like using Clorox Disinfecting All-Purpose Cleaner in the home carefree.
Yes!
Like dog slobbing on the coffee table and cleaning it with Clorox Carefree?
He's on a roll now.
Spit toothpaste on the faucet?
You got it. You got it.
Peanut butter on the light switch.
Oh, spritz.
Spritz, spritz. Clorox, man. Clean feels good.
Okay, we're back.
Use as directed.
Welcome back, folks. This is episode 152. We're a little behind, but we are going to catch up real quick. What's up, Walt? How you doing, sir?
I don't think we're behind. We just took a little break, man.
I know
We've been consistent for a long time.
Long time, bro.
We haven't taken a break
recently.
Yeah.
Like 150 something weeks.
This year.
But look, man. Yeah, you're right. It's a balance in that. Not even. We just shoot. Yeah. Anywho.
Yeah, man.
And it wasn't even a good. Not like we were all sitting on the beach. We actually just had to work.
Busy from the 9 to 5.
For all the other things. Because people be like, man, how do you find the time? How do you do? You got 2 podcasts. And I'm like, it sounds like a lot when people say it, but I manage it just fine.
Yeah.
And then sometimes.
Yeah, sometimes life.
And it's crazy because both of our weeks got jammed at the same. We were like, oh, man. So.
Crazy, man.
Is what it is.
What's new with the fitness challenge, man? The financial fitness challenge. What's going on?
I am deep in. I got our business data to the CPA, and now I'm data mining through transactions, right? Like I'm coding things. Restaurant. I mean, that's the one that sticks out to me.
Yeah.
Restaurant.
Yeah.
So. Again, my wife always hates this time of year because she knows I'm going to come with like, where we spend all out. It's annoying at first, but it is good to see because you're like,
you got to connect.
You got to keep yourself honest. Exactly. So I'm going through that phase of the fitness challenge, is looking at the data, like we preach about, right? And then going to make some decisions after that. What about you?
Same, kind of in the same vein. And recently, I'm not going to say the amount because I'm a little embarrassed about it.
Yeah, we don't have to do that. We don't have to do that.
But found that I didn't think I was spending as much as I was spending on like eating out.
Yep.
And then I racked total up the expenditures for the
expenditure. You don't even know what words is out. You're going to
expenditure
finance and we're taking them a savings.
There were the expenditures and I totaled up the expenses for the month that I was looking at and realized, man, like I spent way too much.
Yeah.
Little things. And it wasn't like big amounts, it was just little things like here and there. They add up. More frequent, yeah.
Yep. And be glad that it was just a month, bro. And it wasn't months and a whole year that you're looking back on as I'm doing now.
It's hurt my heart.
Exactly. Bro, it's crazy. Yeah. So it's going through that, man. What you got for us today? Some payroll news. Be mindful, not say pay news.
Yeah, IRS, basically, this article came out on March 28th, and it was about the earned income tax credit, and that it was the 50th anniversary of it on Saturday, March 29th. Yeah, I think it was established in 1975, so it was the maximum credit for that year was $400, and for 2024, it was a little over $7,800.
Oh, dang.
Yeah.
Because now I'm curious as to what that really means.
Yeah.
And income tax credit definition? What is it, people? Oh, man. And this is not the show, but we're already. All right. But anywho, okay. I'll dig into that for the next show.
This is what it says, right? It says,
oh, you got it.
It was made to provide financial assistance to low to moderate income working families and individuals with or without children by helping them cover essentials and to save for future and build financial stability. That's the reason why it was.
All right. Alrighty then. Thanks for that. Look, being that 70% of Americans live paycheck to paycheck. For real, all the things are needed, man. Like, it's crazy.
Yeah, we gotta check that stat because I don't know about these prices. It might be 80% right about now.
It's tough, man. It's crazy what's going on. Okay. All right. Was that it?
Yeah.
All right. What was mine for this one? Mine for this one was about this company Atomic that I have covered in the past. I like covering talking about payroll companies that nobody knows about that are $1 million companies doing their thing. They're just not like in the limelight, because it's very interesting that we only hear about a certain amount of companies, like A-list celebrities and B-list celebrities.
Yeah.
You don't really know, you only know, or even like in the accounting world, the big four, you
Yeah.
know, and they only know that's it. But there's hundreds of thousands of other businesses out there that are $1 million companies. So anywho, Atomic, this
Yeah.
company Atomic is out there. Oh gosh, I got to go back to my link. I lost it because I had to reboot. They just secured a bag
Nice.
with Capital One Ventures, City Ventures, and FNB Corporation, a few banks, and $10 million. They raised $10 million in a strategic investment with Capital One and City and FNB.
Nice.
And yeah, this funding affirms that Atomic's position as a trusted partner for financial services across a range of cases. Basically, they are helping to bridge the gap, I found that I'm gonna tell you what they do. Atomic serves as the essential bridge between consumer data and financial solutions, allowing unparalleled access to payroll, HRIS systems, and merchants, facilitating a range of financial services, including direct deposit switching, income, sorry, no triggers, income employment verification, payment method updating, and subscription management. So again, we talked about them before about payroll. They're making moves in that space, and they just got
Mhm.
some more money and still growing. So, you know, God bless them. And that was it.
That's it.
Yeah.
All right, let's pay some bills.
Let's pay the bills. Are you looking for an efficient way to manage employee time? Time Track Go is the solution. Time Track Go turns an ordinary tablet into a state-of-the-art time clock in minutes. And with its mobile app and web portal, employees can clock in from anywhere in the world. But wait, it gets better. Time Track Go also has automated PTO, simplifies time off requests, and makes life easier for you and your team. So stop wasting time and get these features are really key. They always ask us, what is a sophisticated system? A
Mhm.
sophisticated system has those features, folks.
What I love about the Workforce Agility Limited Series by Cornerstone was we talked to executives and customers all about skills. Skills. Cornerstone has a wonderful background in learning and development, training, etc. Their LMS is world class, but they've centered the business now, not just on that, like building upon that, but building upon how everything is moved to the skills economy. So check out the limited series called Workforce Agility, and you can get it wherever you get your podcast. And it's just a wonderful series where we talk to their executives on the shift of why, and also their customers that are using it. So check it out whenever you get a chance. Appreciate it.
So Time Track Go has a special offer for It's About Payroll listeners. Right now,
Yes.
they are offering an additional 50% off your first 2 months. So just head over to www.timetrackgo.com/IAP. That's www.timetrackgo.com/IAP to start your 14-day free trial today and claim this special offer. So let's go.
Let's go.
All right, what do you got for us, Brian?
Man, we didn't even say what we were talking about. We're talking about employee handbooks today.
And how
Let me read. My fault, bro. I'm going less. How employee handbooks impact where I'm talking about payroll, IAP. So the payroll professional, I got to keep myself straight because I'm thinking about both. I'm actually very excited about the topic, and there's a lot of good nuggets on both sides. And so, folks, just so you know, we're doing how it impacts payroll, but we're also going to do the same subject on it's about your paycheck. And we'll talk about it from the employee perspective, and you should listen to it. As a payroll pro, I might make you mad, but you should listen to it. So for the payroll pro, and I want to ask you a question. How do you feel like you've always used it to guide your right? Exactly right. Walt is shaking his head no. And I agree because it's really in the last few years, I don't know, I got smart around it, maybe 5, like I would always, you're forced to go check things here and there. But at some point I was like, wait a minute, this thing needs to stay handy, top of mind. Like I'm open. So now I use it to really get to know a process of a daily guide for issues.
That's a great way to think about that.
Oh crap. That's what create cheat sheet for yourself. There it is right there. I was like, wait a minute. I know I had an idea that I wanted to share and also need to do.
Yeah.
And it's created. So number one was, it should be used as a daily guide for payroll professionals. We should create a cheat sheet for it so that we don't have to constantly pour through the whole thing, especially what up.
So when you say
Oh, go ahead.
cheat sheet, what are you saying?
Like, for instance, I go in it to look at what the holiday schedule is because our retail establishments they don't get every single holiday. There's a certain holidays that are eligible for certain benefits and certain pay rates and premiums and things, right? But it's a set holiday. It's not every holiday.
I got you.
So
I got what
I
you're
go in
saying.
for that. I go in for PTO policy, for sick policy.
Really,
There's a
anything that may impact someone's pay.
someone's pay. Yeah. So
Okay.
instead of opening the book and pouring through it all,
Yeah.
we as pros should just make a little cheat sheet,
Mhm.
even if it's just digitally highlighting, because there's ways to like tag a PDF, right? If you have the right tools, you can just cheat sheet it right in the document, put little footnotes or whatever.
Yeah.
So that was number 2, create a cheat sheet for yourself. Number 3 is, if it's updated, you really want to make sure that it's recirculated to all your employees
Yeah.
and that it's a mandate for the sign off. Now, I know what people can say, oh, they just click, they don't know. That's on them. And we're going to talk about that on the other show.
Yeah.
But as a payroll pro, that gives you a tiny bit of leverage to say, hey, if you have the right systems, you can say, hey, you signed off on this day at this time, and click. And of course, they're not going to know and you argue, but that's still the fact. They signed off on it. You get to, if you do it right, you help them, coach them through it. Hey, this is really important. This is why you should read those things. And this is why we got 3 months to sign off on this, or a month to sign off. You know what I mean? But
This episode is brought to you by Shopify. Forget the frustration of picking commerce platforms when you switch your business to Shopify, the global commerce platform that supercharges your selling wherever you sell. With Shopify, you'll harness the same intuitive features, trusted apps, and powerful analytics used by the world's leading brands. Sign up today for your $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/tech, all lowercase. That's shopify.com/tech.
you do want that, because then that's how it puts us as the payroll pro in the teaching leverage.
I think it's especially good to have those things signed and like at least acknowledged, because like in those instances, in my mind, where a company may deviate, like for the bereavement, right? You may, like, typically it's 3 days or whatever, that your company may want to give more in certain situations, right?
That's right.
That's not necessarily written in the handbook.
That's
right.
Not
In some
necessarily.
cases, it's not written.
Okay,
in your
so we're
handbook.
going to talk about that the other show too.
But,
and I
but
guess
the reason I'm going there is
Okay.
because I think that having them sign it and making sure that it's understood, say, okay, can prevent people from trying to say, they gave Jimmy or Janie these amount of hours. What about me?
What about me?
Yeah.
You bring up a good point. And it's worth talking about here. It's what Wall is talking about is the difference between practice and policy. And policies in your handbook, but there could be a different practice.
Yes.
That, like 3 days paid, and depending on the level. What I've seen all kind of things, by the way. I've seen no bereavement, some bereavement, strict bereavement, generous bereavement, but I've seen tiered. I've seen it tiered.
Yeah.
A close family member, you get 5 days.
Yeah.
A distant family member, 3.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So but see,
True.
we're going into details here, but this is like the point of why payroll pros need to know, because that's gonna impact how you pay. And if it's all automated, great, but then somebody's got to build the automation and you got to check it every now and then. It might break sometimes. Okay. Anywho, try to recirculate when it's up, when any part is updated. Try to mandate that. Make sure all the pay impact parts are updated. Meaning, do they make sense? Challenge it if you need to. Read through all the things. Make your cheat sheet.
Yeah.
And then maybe it's, wait a minute, why do we do this? Why am I doing it this way? If we do this, then it'll be automated. It could be easier.
That's a great point, because I know there's been times where at the time that they updated a portion of it, it made sense to them, to the person who was writing it.
Exactly.
And then somebody came along and found a loophole and was like, oh, this is how I interpreted it.
Yes. Or it could have been driven by a technological limitation.
Yep, that's true.
We can't do this, so we got to make the policy this. That I've seen that a lot, especially now that people, like, the automation is so robust and so sophisticated that it's, wait a minute, we don't have to do it. This can be automated.
Yeah.
You want to challenge, you want to get a good hold of it and challenge anything that can be updated and just point it out. Maybe it won't change, but at least you can raise the red flag and say, hey, by the way, what else? Yep. Make suggestions if applicable. Don't just accept what's in it as a payroll pro, meaning don't look at it for, oh, I'm the employee, I have to accept the rules. And look at it. What I'm saying is look at it as the practitioner, look at it as a policymaker, as a leader, as a payroll person, and say, hey, these things can change. And you could, if you get HR you get the right, because like in HR, I feel like there are people who are very employee-centric leaders, and they're employer-centric leaders where, right? So depending on how your leader is, you may be able to change, like, hey, 3 days seems crazy. While the average in the industry is 5, or no bereavement at all is crazy. The average is 3. So anywho, what else I got here? Make sure the front line is referring to the same. Make sure you're literally all on the same page, right? So now that you have a hold of it as a payroll pro, and you're like, whoof, you're flying through and you know everything, right?
Yeah.
But what if your managers and the people who need to roll it out on a daily basis don't know?
It's one of the things that I use a sports analogy all the time or whatever, but like, it's knowing the playbook.
Yes.
Right?
Literally.
And like, if somebody has an old version of a playbook, outdated, and you go to run a play, and
you run in a post and we made it a flat. Come on. Yeah, exactly right. It's knowing, and we go through that all the time where, and then look, and the flip side of it, you got to give your team some grace. And hey, our managers are frontliners. They're dealing with this other things on a daily basis. Like I walk in today, I don't know anything that's going on in their world. So you got to know the handbook is really your world. You want to help bridge that gap. So make them a cheat sheet, maybe. Make them, because what was the stat that you found? 70% of employees actively avoid reading the employee handbook.
Yes.
So most 70% is everybody. And maybe you're 30% of all the managers that read it, but please believe it's not going to be. And maybe you need to make them one. It's not a bad idea. And and I already said this, try to update based on automations, make note of what's causing a manual task, because sometimes a policy can be done differently. And again, and it's causing a manual. You're like, hey, I got to do this manually because of this.
Yeah. And there's another that out there that talks about like generationally, right? And so it talked about millennials and before them. So it said 43% of millennials don't read their handbook.
Oh.
And the generation before them is
Gen X.
30%.
Ooh, you trying? Oh, I see how what was being nice. He's the generation before them. You, Brian.
Well, that means more of you read it.
Oh, wait a minute. No, wait. Oh, don't read 30%. Don't read it.
Yes.
Okay. So 70% did. All right, great.
Yeah.
80. Okay, and 60% of millennials
67.
don't. 57.
No, it's 57% do.
40, do read it. 43 don't.
Yeah.
Got it. My bad.
No, you're good.
All right. See, look at that. Oh, what about after Gen Zs? No Gen Z? Okay, they didn't got enough data yet. That's what.
And the reason that this part says that is because millennials became disengaged.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense, right? Because I feel like Gen Z, that number will be higher that they read it.
Yeah.
Because I feel like Gen Zs, at the end of the millennials, the beginning of Gen Zs really started pushing the envelope for better employee work situation, right? Like they're really demanding more at the workplace. So anywho, but that's all I got, man. What you got?
Look, I just have some things that could prove beneficial for payroll pros to know
about
the employee handbook. So that's standardization of payroll policies. So it can consolidate those different policies in there It include the pay periods, overtime rules, calculations could be in there,
Yes.
timekeeping procedures and breaks, times and stuff like that. All that could
Yep.
be in there. You know what I'm saying? It could be, and it should be clearly defined.
Yeah. A handbook, and now that you say this, a handbook should be considered in the SOP world, right? This
Yeah.
is also part SOP, part handbook for the employees. Yeah.
Yeah. Another one is help you with compliance, right? With those regulatory requirements, right?
Oh, yeah.
State, local, if it applies,
Yep.
at minimum wage, those different things. Classification of employees, which we
Yep.
know that's the number one error in payroll.
Yep.
Classification, right? Of employees. So it'll help you identify and classify those exempt, full-time, part-time people correctly, right?
Seasonal temps.
Yep. There may be some handbooks may provide details about maintenance of comprehensive payroll records, telling you what to keep, how to keep it, like we were in a place that we had to calculate, what was that called? It was escrow for schools.
Oh God.
Yeah,
Stop.
we had to keep the records for that. Remember? You remember that? Brought back-
Yes. And no, I just because nobody ever wanted to be honest about what that was, and that's the
Yeah.
problem of it. Because there was a different way. Anywho, I still try to
Yeah.
solve these problems eons later.
Yeah, it's a maintenance of your records, facilitation of those payroll compliance audits, reduction of any legal risks that may happen, and enhancement
Yes.
of workplace harmony. Look, working in payroll, you're going to run into all different types of personalities, people. Some are not going to be so friendly. Some are going to be rough around the edges. The handbook may tell you, it may help you learn how to navigate some of those things as well. And if you're having a rough time, it may also direct you what to do as well in those situations. It can be a provision for training and reference material.
That's what I was just saying.
Like Steve.
Yeah. Yep.
You know,
Cheat sheet,
and-
SOP. Yep.
Yeah. And also assure that payroll is processed accurately and timely as well, and explain those different things, right? So I think it's indispensable for payroll and HR professionals because it's like a structured framework,
Yes.
and it provides support for all those different things that we talked about. What do you have to say?
I just talked to a certified financial planner. So that's part of also the fitness, but I feel like I mentioned it last time. And he said, and I don't know if I told you this, but he said in the conversation, because he's asking me questions, he's like, oh, how often do you get paid? And I was like, oh, they gave him the frequency. And he's like, oh, and I was like, yeah, what do you mean? He's like, most people I ask don't know when they get paid. They don't know the frequency of their pay. I was like, what?
No.
Even as an employee only, I knew my pay schedule. I was like, that's crazy. But it goes to show you, it's just like folks don't look at their paycheck. And payroll pros know that. Forget about it. So
I even knew payroll pros that didn't even look at their stubs.
that's beyond me, but okay. It's crazy because we're in the system all the time. And I look, but I guess, you know what though? But I guess that's a great example of different professionals. Because I look on my phone to see what the experience is, like what my my customers, how they see their pay. I do the same thing for myself through the system to be like, okay, this is what they're seeing. You know what I mean? So if it just forces me to see it, because I'm always like, all right, let me see what they're talking about.
I don't think it's a professional thing. I think it's maybe not a maturity. I'm trying to find the right words, because I know when I was younger, I wasn't really focused about my pay like that. It was just
Even in payroll?
Even in payroll, I wasn't necessarily looking at my checks.
That could be a factor. That's true.
But what caused me to do it is when I had just gotten back from working with FEMA. I had to get a temp job, and I had to monitor my time cards,
Hours,
stuff like
yep.
that, my hours, and they paid me a little bit different than what I was used to pay. So I had to look at my stubs, and I noticed that one time they short paid me, and that kind of shifted stuff in me. It was in my early 20s when that happened. And so I was just like, okay, I need to make sure I stay on top of these things.
Right.
And I maintain a better budget, because at first it was that financial literacy. How many times have we seen people on true payroll crimes?
Yep.
Make a mistake or make a choice, and because they're either money hungry or whatever, and they just start living a certain type of way.
Yeah. Yeah. Nice. All right, man. What else we got? We got a question of the day.
Yeah. And so in your opinion, Is knowing what the employee handbook says a requirement or a luxury for payroll pros?
Oh, for payroll pros,
Yeah.
it's a requirement.
Okay.
It's a requirement. I think that, of course, look, if you want to be a wordsmith, and of course, if you want to be a good payroll pro and continue to grow, because like that stretches you out. So you start to get more comfortable with policy, and you start to be able to easily coach and talk to employees. And when they come to you, because inevitably, if you're payroll that sits with HR, you're going to get asked HR questions.
Yeah.
Oh, this one's not around. Oh, do you know if blah, 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 blah.
So let me ask you, what if you work for a company that really doesn't push reading the employee handbook on you or anything like that? Or knowing, I work for a place that told me, right, look, payroll's job is not to be the policy police. It's to process payroll.
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Agreed. But sometimes it's one and the same. If the policy is about the payroll, then
We're about the handbook.
Yeah, but again, like I said, it depends on what type of professional you want to be.
Okay.
That's what I think. Yeah.
Optimize your business with a Workforce AI Edge powered by Visier. Make smarter decisions and achieve better outcomes with real-time AI insights delivered to every people leader. Explore more at visier.com.
I can't see doing the job really good and being the best that you could be without reading through it. I don't read them cover to cover.
Yeah, not like you're memorizing stuff. It's just
No,
like, yeah.
but I'm going in it to look for the things that it's going to tell me the right way to do it is. You know what I mean? And that's a good part of it.
Yeah, and I think for me, I think it's a must-have, a requirement for a payroll pro, because it's not gonna hurt you. It's just gonna
No.
enhance you, like you were
It's only
saying.
going to
right?
make you better. Yeah.
It's gonna make you better, and it's gonna help you clearly define, like you mentioned earlier, what's policy versus practice.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. And you delineate or just see that clear line in the sand and say, hey, this is the difference between this and this is the difference between that.
Yeah, exactly right. So that's why I said the cheat sheet is important, because the internet policy may not be as important to you as is the holiday schedule.
Yeah.
Internet policy you may want to know for yourself, right? Because you're not caught watching Netflix at work, so that's different, but that you're not going to refer to that to process payroll. You shouldn't have to. Yeah, if you do, that stinks. But yeah, that's about it, Mike. Yeah, all good stuff. Yeah, all right, cool. We'll keep it nice and short and sweet. Kept it on the time.
Yeah, man.
Killing it. Love it.
Brian said, if you don't look at your stuff, you a bum. For sure.
You a bum. You're a damn bum. No, not all the time, but I don't see how payroll. You said payroll. You knew payroll pros that didn't.
Yes.
That's who I don't see. Like, you're in the system right there. Like, you live in the system all day.
Yeah.
And
it may be the setup, because I know that now that I process corporate, and when I started processing corporate more often, I started paying more attention to my own stuff, even then.
See?
But before that, when I wasn't privy to it, I was just all.
Oh, you didn't process your own payroll?
No.
I haven't been in many jobs that I didn't process my own payroll, or with oversight. Yeah. All right. Cool. All right, folks. Till next time. We love you. Peace.